Hello, cherished viewers. Welcome to my program, Mining for the Truth. Joseph Atta is my name from Ghana, West Africa. Mining for the Truth refers to the process of digging to discover the undiluted doctrines of Christ, authentic of Christ. It has two purposes as follows. One, to teach the word. John 1 verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. You can prove this going to Genesis 1 verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The plural Hebrew word for God there is Elohim, God the Father, God the Son, the Word, Jesus Christ, God the Holy Spirit. Elohim suggests God of creation. B, God is powerful. 2, to teach the truth, as seen on the screen, John 8:32. And you know the truth, and the truth will set you free. What is the truth? John 17:17. Sanctify them by your truth. Your word is truth. What is the truth manifestation? John 14 verse 6. And Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me or except through me. The phrase except by me or except through me means that there is no other way except Jesus Christ. Of course, Acts 4 verse 12 is saying that there's no other name under which we are being saved except Jesus Christ. Anybody who is not under Jesus Christ and his kingdom shall be condemned at the end. You are considered as an antichrist. The theme is the book of Ecclesiastes, and topic is searching for the true meaning of life. Today we're going to continue the pedagogy of chapter 8, and chapter 8 is just chapter 8, no episode or no episodes. So when I'm done with chapter 8, I'm done with the chapter 8. Maybe chapter 9 may have different episodes. So this means that we have about 9, 10, 11, 12. So when we are done with today, we have 4 chapters to complete the book. It is not an easy journey, and God has been so wonderful with me so far. I welcome all my viewers from all over the world. UMAT Campus Church, Eccl, you are welcome to the program. All of us are welcome. Those who don't call, you are welcome. I love you so much, and I know you love me too. Actually, I've missed you a lot. Once again, we are almost about to see the revelation of God. Mean to say that your prayers have been answered already, and very soon God is going to manifest himself in your life. On that note, I also congratulate and thank Mrs. Mariok and Mr. Samuel Obenpupra. God bless you so much. Long life, good health, progress, and prosperity. Use wisdom, but know its limitations. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 1 to 17. Let's see if I can read all, or maybe I will start and then later I'll continue. Who is like a wise man, and who knows the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom makes his face shine, and the sternness of his face is changed. I say, keep the king's commandments for the sake of your oath. It is many, and sometimes it makes the teaching so boring. So as we are moving on, I will be maybe reading them text by text, and then I will explain. Now we are on Ecclesiastes chapter 8. So today, what do I have for you? In summary, use wisdom, but know its limitations. When you are wise, don't think that you can penetrate into the wisdom of God. No. Number 2, even though we are Christians, we are still right people. We are to vote. We must subject to the civil government or the civil governance. Then number 3, we are not to question God. Why? Maybe he blesses the wicked and then the righteous will perish in his righteousness. I think this is the brief summary of the entire thing that we're going to study. Being wise means that you have to understand God. Simple. Use wisdom, but know its limitations. When you are wise, you obey and you understand the will of the Lord. You do not force him to do anything for you. So Ecclesiastes chapter 8 seems to contain a clear unit of thought. Clear, so clear. Solomon begins by praising wisdom and ends by declaring its limitations in the face of life's baffling contradictions. Some people have been solving problems in life using their wisdom and has never helped. As I've always been saying, we thought that technology, for example, as human beings have invented a lot, was coming to solve our problem, but rather it has increased our problems. It has rather made work easier, but it cannot solve the challenges that we face in our lives. His fruitless efforts to rationalize the iniquities of life beneath the sun. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 10 to 14. So let's go, as I said. I'll be reading them along. So Ecclesiastes 8 verse 10 to 14. Let's see what we have there. Then I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from the place of holiness, and they were forgotten in the city where they had so done. This also is vanity, because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. 12. Though a sinner does evil 100 times, and his days are prolonged, yet I surely know that it will be well with those who fear God, who fear before him, who fear God, and who fear before him. But it will not be well with the wicked, nor will he prolong his days, which are as a shadow, because he does not fear before God. There is a vanity which occurs on earth, that there are just men to whom it happens according to the work of the wicked. Again, there are wicked men to whom it happens according to the work of the righteous. I said, this also is vanity. So let's hear the interpretation. His fruitless efforts to rationalize the iniquities of life beneath the sun perpetuate. We mean it continues. Such animals are only a challenge to those who believe that a righteous God rules the world. Such animals are only a challenge to those who believe that a righteous God rules the world. Chaos and contradictions are not a bother to a non-believer. So we have read, people who do evil rather prolong life, assumably, but you are hereby informed that when the wicked refuses to fear before the Lord, his days are also shortened. In fact, sin reduces the lifespan of a human being. The more we sin, the more we reduce our lifespan. For example, 70 years that we have been given. The more you sin, the lesser your lifespan. So don't be happy that someone has been so wicked and so cruel and the person is still alive. His days are shortened. And to the non-believer, chaos and contradictions are not a bother to him. They care less. The person will not read the Bible. The person does not even believe in God. He is a complete heathen, antichrist. So as he has been born, or he was born, he lives, he dies, and then he goes. He doesn't even care whether there's judgment or not. And they are always saying that death ends everything. When you die, you have died. No, there's judgment afterward. So to him, he doesn't care whether there's a chaos, there's contradictions. They have their own philosophy to live their life. And preferably, they want things to be smooth with them. Now, when you don't go to church, it means that you still believe in something. Okay? Whatever is so vital to you, serve as a God that you worship. So, for example, you make money. You love to go out to dance. Because you are a non-believer, there is where you have been worshiping. drinking at a drinking spot, going out to programs, to sit where people have been joking. You have also found a God to worship. But this preacher believes most fervently in a God of righteousness and justice. So Ecclesiastes 3 verse 17, 11 verse 19, 12 verse 14. Fear God and keep his commandment. This is the whole duty of man. And for this reason, the injustices of life are so troubling. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 16, 4 verse 1. All this have been taught. That's why I don't want to read. But of course, we are here to go to Ecclesiastes 11. I'm chapter 11. So we will not spend my time there. Solomon now expands more fully on the problem he raised in Ecclesiastes 7 verse 15. So this is something there, even though we have surpassed there. But I have something there that I love it so much. 7 verse 15. I have seen everything in my days of vanity. There is a just man who perishes in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man who prolongs in his wickedness. This is a bit challenging to even most Christians. Some don't understand this. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29 is saying that the secret things belongs to the Lord. The secret things belong to the Lord our God. So our duty is not to question God why we face adversities, or why we face challenges, why we face chaos, why we face contradictions. Your duty is to be an obedient servant, period. We move on. Now he notes how the wicked, who in their hypocrisy spent much time going to the place of holiness, are buried with honor and praise. So you can imagine, we have people who, in fact, most people do voluntary work into charity. They call themselves a humanitarian and then a whole lot, a philanthropist. You may see an actor who donates to support the needy, a footballer, a musician, and the rest, and celebrities. I don't know why they do so. Maybe to impress the world, to get more donors, to get more followers, to also gain more money. You see, they give to get, actually, in case you're unaware. The more they give, the more they are recognized. Sometimes some may even win the best billionaire, the best millionaire, the best player, the best artist, not because of his personality, but because of the donations he or she has been doing. All these are just temporary and are seen in the world. At times I've been asking people that, why do you struggle yourself so much to impress the world? A footballer can jump an unimaginable height to score a goal. Sometimes he falls down to have a fractured knee, waist, knee, and others, or even ankle. The person is sent for surgery and then he's still playing, killing himself for the team. But my question is that, why don't you transfer this, your enthusiasm, to worship God? It goes nowhere. It is worthy. With time, you go on pension, you go to retire, you become obsolete. Different people or new generation will overtake you. Have you ever seen in the Bible that a Christian who stood to worship God has become obsolete before? We still mention Paul. We mention all the apostles. We address all the prophets. We accord them with much respect. They are our mentors that we follow. So I believe that it is wise and prudent to strive to be strenuous for God than to live worldly legacy. It goes nowhere anyway. And salvation is not found in that. Salvation is found by going ye therefore, preach the gospel of Christ, to win souls for Christ, period. Then is where your vision becomes heaven. So why are you worrying yourself? Why worry? Why are you killing yourself for something which is temporal? And as I said, some even they claim that they are Christians. The word Christian is different from being a believer. So they go to churches, some do donate, they pray for the church a whole lot. And when they die, they are given befitting burial. Oh, he did this. He was the one who bought us a bath. The pastor is not a savior. The audience are not your savior. What you did was for the world. It has no linkage with Christianity because you are a sinner. God does not accept the sacrifices, the giving of a sinner. In case you are unaware. At least, John 1:31 is saying that God does not listen to the prayer of a sinner. So if you are a sinner and you are praying, you are wasting your time. God has no ears to listen to. So how can you impress God when you are in sin? When you are submerged in sin? Their bodies are full of tattoos. Why can you prove this in the Bible that you qualify to tattoo, to pierce, ruffian haircuts, ruffian dresses, and a whole lot? Whatever they are doing is against the Bible, period. They are antichrist, exceptionally antichrist. That's all. You don't waste time to debate on such a childish issue. You understand? Yes. Unless maybe you want to appear to be liked by them. But if you're a Christian who wants to face facts, when a person is an antichrist, point to him that you are an antichrist and therefore you are a direct opposite to Christ. They go contrary to the Bible. It doesn't matter whether they quote the Bible or not. If you are an armed robber, you quote the Bible whilst you are still an armed robber. You were a sinner. If you don't repent, you die, go to Tartarus, to hell, respectively. Your mind, what you think, is not what we read in the Bible. And if your pastor, your church, has twisted to preach the gospel to suit your ego, you all go to hell. Unlike Shakespeare's observation in Julius Caesar that the good men do is often interred or buried with their bones. It appears that the reverse is true and that a good funeral oration can expunge or erase much iniquity. Yes, even sometimes I have never seen that they have written anything different except rest in peace, RIP, R-I-P, so that you could be rest in punishment. You can only rest in peace when you lived for Christ. That's all. It's when you die, you are judged and you go to paradise. A temporary dwelling place, more or less Garden of Eden. So pleasantries. But when you lived a life against the Bible, you rest in punishment. Because after death, Hebrews 9:27, then you go to the towers to start to be tormented. So it should be either rest in peace, rest in punishment. It doesn't matter that you were an armed robber, you were a gambler, you were a gay, you were a lesbian, free, Masonic worshipper. And then when you died, they called one pastor to come and then give a befitting burial. You see, the word was created by God, it is ruled by God, God is going to judge. So it doesn't matter how hypocritical the audience are. What we accept on earth is not what God accepts, but rather what God has accepted in heaven is what will happen on earth. You don't tell God what he should do. So you cannot use your mind to fabricate stories, to fabricate events, and think that because of what you are saying, God must accept. How dare you? So whether the wicked is buried and then be given a good name, rather it should be a good, when you live well, it's when your name should still be remembered. Actually, that's how it should be. And not that the person was so wicked and the whole audience, they are all pretending to give him a good name. The wiser ones are still there monitoring, and very soon your days are gone. We continue. Additionally, justice delayed. So let's go to Ecclesiastes 8 verse 10. Of course, I've paraphrased it in my own way. I love paraphrasing a lot. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 10. Then I saw the wicked buried, who had come and gone from, no, verse 11, sorry. Because the sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So I paraphrase by saying that justice delayed will embolden the wicked to further evil. Simple. Additionally, justice delayed will embolden the wicked to further evil. That is what we read in Ecclesiastes, or what we read. To tell you that when the wicked person is not brought to order, he might think that doing bad is good. So therefore the person will continue in so. The world should have called the wicked person to order, rather they applaud them. And they will continue to applaud that even when the person dies, the person is given a nice name, so that people will blindfoldedly, continuously worship this person. But this isn't so. If the law is working accurately and precisely as it is supposed to be, then we think that when the wicked person commits evil, or when the wicked person does something evil, there must be an instant justice, immediate justice. Don't delay. Justice delayed will embolden the wicked to further evil, because the person, he wasn't called to order. No law has hold him. None is speaking against him. So he becomes pompous, proud, and arrogant. And rather, the person will rather increase in his wickedness. Finally, he mentions again the great iniquity when it happens to just men according to the work of the wicked, and to the wicked according to the work of the righteous. So you can imagine, Ecclesiastes 8 verse 14. There is vanity which occurs on earth, that there are just men to whom it happens according to the work of the wicked, and there are wicked men to whom it happens according to the work of the righteous. So you see that the person who does so well, the righteous man, lives so poorly. He can't even afford good food. He can't even rent a good home or house to stay. He can't afford to pay to send his children to a good school. He lives in misery, miserable life. He lives in destitute. In fact, the word is destitute. Meanwhile, the person is so committed to God. He always attends church, he prays, he reads the Bible, he preaches the gospel. And society starts to mock at him. Sometimes he will be stricken, or some kind of unusual illness can strike him. It could be a stroke, it could be a disease or illness that they cannot even identify. The person is already poor, or he was poor, and now he has a mysterious disease or illness, and the person dies melancholy. So they start to mock at him. In fact, when you are a righteous person and you suffer in this manner, who will even have a desire to also follow God? Because he doesn't want to end the way of ending, because he has seen that one wicked person has been prospering, bought a land, built his house, has cars, doing marvelously in life. The children have been attending good schools, they eat good food. So they are all directed to follow the wicked way. The question being posed as the chapter begins is, how shall we respond to the just crookedness that surrounds us in this present world. Actually, the whole thing has been bent that righteous is equal to injustice, number one. The wicked is equal to justice. Two, the righteous is equal to poverty. The wicked is equal to prosperity. So you may find a Christian who hires the room of an antichrist or a wicked person. Won't he mock you when he sees you attending church and preaching the gospel of Christ? He will make fun of you because the world has twisted faith. He is inheriting what you're supposed to get, and you are now leading the life which he is supposed to live or live for. How are you to endure the perpetual oppression of the weak by the strong? You are staying in his or her house, so he chooses to give you the law that the person is a wicked person. No compassion. He didn't struggle to get money. He used evil means to build, to make money. He paid bribe, and therefore all what he sees is money. He will try to make fun of you. That when I was at this age was when I built my house. How old are you? And what have you done? They make fun of people. And if you are not wise, you are intimidated. And then you may leave your God to follow him. The wickedness that inhabits high places where rulers seem to operate by the shame of power. You have no lawyer. He has more lawyers. He knows people in the government. By phone call, then everything will be done. Solomon recognizes that one may be tempted to rise in rebellion against rulers who not only allow evil but often instigate it. Now, I've been saying that it is not a duty of a Christian to challenge the authority who are oppressing the weak. Vengeance belongs to God. You can advise them, but don't fight them. Why there is injustice? You are alone. What can you do by being alone? There are many, you see. There are many, and you are only a few. How can you fight them? So just leave them. Move on with your life. We are not saying that keep quiet. Close your eyes, but when you think it is above you, everything, the battle belongs to God. It is only human to desire some immediate and substantive correction to all this egregious unfairness. To such impulses, he counsels prudence in the face of power beyond us, but not beyond the power of God. We have neither the ability nor the prerogative to take care of such matters. The power does not lie within you. The world is going to the dogs, as I mentioned earlier in the chapter 7. The world is continuously going to the dogs. Where some president, where some celebrity thinks that he is the owner of the world. Of course, what they say is what the whole world is following and the practicing. The world has gone to the dogs. If not, how dare you to twist the Bible to suit your ego? You don't have the power to combat with them. Leave it to God. Sheer Philistine power does not work divine purposes. As James wisely observed long afterwards, the wrath of a man does not produce the righteousness of God. When you are so angry about this, it doesn't make you a righteous person. The battle is not for you. You cannot do anything. Ecclesiastes 1 verse 20 said that the wrath of man does not produce righteousness of God. By being angry does not mean that you are God's child. By being angry against this oppression does not mean that you are God's spokesman. Solomon offers several grounds for being submissive to the rulers as follows. 1. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 2. I think already I've read it, but I have to repeat it. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 2. I say, keep the king's commandment for the sake of your oath to God. There seemed to be a comprehension in the wisdom literature that God expected his servant to be submissive to civil rulers. My son, fear the Lord and the king. Do not associate with those given to change or rebellion, for their calamity will arrive suddenly, and who knows the ruin those two can change. Proverbs 22 verse 21 and 22. Proverbs 24, 21 and then 22. Could this be an early statement of apostolic teaching? Let every soul be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God. Romans 13 verse 1. Therefore, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man, for the Lord's sake. 1 Peter 2 verse 18 and 14. We continue in 1 Peter 2 verse 17 that fear God, honor the king. Once you are fearing God, you must also honor the king and government. If you're a Christian and your community is doing a communal labor, it is Sunday. Go and do the labor. Even if you don't go to church, you have not sinned. However, you can go and tell them that because you worship on Sunday, you want to come and do your work on Saturday, so that Sunday you have time to go to work. When they insist to church, when they insist that the work will be on Sunday, which will crash your time, please go do this communal work. This will not be done every day. But when it becomes their habit, you have to see to it that no, intentionally, they're trying to prevent you from worshiping God. I, Mr. Father, will leave the community. Go elsewhere and leave. Because I cannot obey them to the detriment of my conscience that I shouldn't worship God. Now, let me summarize this by telling you that it is a sin if you choose not to vote. It is a sin. Nowhere in the Bible is God telling us that we shouldn't vote. Now, you will not vote. Who should vote for you to enjoy the benefit? In Ghana, now we are enjoying free SHS. I think from 8 years ago. Those churches who did not vote, I'm asking you that, do you have your children enjoying the free SHS? You didn't vote. You chose not to vote. So I'm asking you that, are you enjoying the benefit from the current government? If we all did not vote, where will you get this benefit from? So you must vote. I don't know what your church is and who your pastor is. But if we are using the Bible as our constitution, you won't find anywhere that don't vote. I vote. But I don't vote almost every year. Maybe I may be somewhere where my card isn't with me, where I cannot attempt to vote. There are some kind of inconveniences. But voting isn't a sin. And the Christian must subject to the rules of the land. For example, when there's a curfew, we can't go to church. And if you don't vote wisely, the wicked will vote the wicked president to come and give laws which will prevent you from also worshiping. So even as Christians, we pray to God to give us a good president who will not give us any rules that will contradict our worshiping hours or time. So you must vote. But, and also, sorry, before you continue, and also, we must obey what they are telling us to do. I mean, when they give us constitution, we must obey the constitution. How can you live in a country and do your own thing? You can't go to heaven in this life. That's why in a country you prefer to do where you don't respect the rules in the land. No, it is a sin. Because as we are to honor God, so also we must also honor the king. But, should in case the president who has been elected is saying that we must marry two. Drinking alcohol isn't a sin. Gayism isn't a sin. Lesbianism isn't a sin. Piercing isn't a sin. Tattooing isn't a sin. Let's go to Colossians 2 verse 8. So New Testament. Colossians 2 verse 8. Beware lest anyone cheat you through philosophy and empty deceit, according to the tradition of men, according to the basic principles of the world, and not according to Christ. So with this, the Christian must go against it. When the community or the king intentionally uses Sunday for communal labor continuously, you must object it. That one, I will advise you that as they are doing a communal labor, go to church. They are not serious in life. They should be sensible enough to know that as they worship their lesser God, you also worship the Supremo. There's time for everything. If they will not follow the rules of the Almighty, then you cannot also follow the rules of their lesser God. So for that one, I will challenge it. And preferably, I will leave the town or the community, go elsewhere, where I think that the Lord there will be liberal. Be careful so that no one deceives you through the traditions of men. What they think is right in their own eyes. No. Don't allow yourself to be intimidated by the laws of the king, which is in direct contradiction to your faith. That one, it is a sin. And I will never go by it. For example, I'm a Christian. I cannot afford to lose my church on Sunday. And I've heard that they have announced that on coming Sunday, we're going to read the cemetery. I have the right to go there during the week, from Monday to Saturday, to read my portion. So that Sunday, I can have time to go to church. If they refuse, then this should tell you that it is a deliberate attempt to prevent you from worshiping God, and therefore you must retaliate. You must understand obeying civil government, obeying the king. Except that when they are going against the Bible, then my friend, you have to object. To obey God is more important than a man. And for all you know, 1 Corinthians 3 verse 19 is saying that for the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. So don't allow them to intentionally prevent you from worshiping God. Fear God under the king does not mean that respect the king than God. 2. The preacher's additional purposes have to do with life preserving prudence because of the king's absolute power and the danger of challenging him. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 3 to 5. I think 5a also. We go to the Old Testament. Do not be hasty to go from his presence. Do not take your stand for an evil thing, for he does whatever pleases him. Where the word of king is, there is power. And who may say to him, what are you doing? He who keeps his commandment will experience nothing harmful. And a wise man's heart discerns both time and judgment. All what I'm saying is that, or the Bible is saying that, obey, honor God, or fear God, obey the king. To fear does not mean that you should shiver or tremble, but to be obedient to God. Obey him. Have absolute obedience for God. 3. The preacher never suggests that the grievous injustice under the sun have created great misery for their victims. But the wise will know that now is not the time for such matters to be adjudicated. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 5b to 6. We know too little and have too little power to accomplish this. Intervene when you think you can. When it supersedes you, let that be done by God. Our wisdom cannot penetrate the future. No matter how wisdom you are, you don't even know when you die. You don't even know when you die. People have tried to prevent death, but they died unknowingly. Of course, we plan that tomorrow we will do this, next year this and that. But my friend, you are only assuming. It is just by God's providence. People had ambition, but they died before they could execute. They had timetable and timetables, but they could not reach there. And we have no power to control even the day of our death. Oh, good, very good. Not only it is even here. Ecclesiastes 8, verse 7. 8, verse 7, verse 8, verse 16, verse 17. Verse 7. For he does not know what will happen, so who can tell him when it will occur? Verse 8. No one has power over the spirit to retain the spirit, and no one has power in the day of death. There is no release from that woe, and wickedness will not deliver those who are given to it. I think verse 16 and 17. When I applied my heart to know wisdom and to see the business that is done on earth, even though one sees no sleep day or night, then I saw all the work of God, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. For though a man labors to discover it, yet he will not find it. Moreover, though a wise man attempts to know it, he will not be able to find it. You can't discover the cupboard. You cannot uncover the cupboard. Our wisdom cannot penetrate the future. 2. And we have no power to control even the day of our death. You cannot. As I stand here, I don't know my end, but I always pray to God to give me a very good ending. He should not let me die until I've accomplished his work as an evangelist before he calls me. Of course, not my will, but let his will be done. I'm just pleading that he considers me, but I don't know when I will die. I don't know when he will call me. That's why I'm now worshiping my God when I have the strength than to wait to grow older. The answer is to fear and trust the righteousness of God. The answer is to fear and trust the righteous God who knows all things and has the power to bring all things to a righteous end. Yes, when you fear him, when you trust in him, he can choose to give you a righteous end. Of this, Solomon is certain, however things may now appear, though a sinner does evil 100 times, and his days are prolonged, yet I surely know that it will be well with those who fear God, who fear before him. It's not that just fear him, but you fear before him. People who fear God use the Bible as constitution. They use the Bible as the constitution. They will not do except what the Bible has approved. By following the laws of the government, by obeying the king, that does not mean that become polygamous. Rape, because when you go to Rome, do what the Romans are doing. Be sleeping with women and then the school girls or the girls. Because the government has permitted. Because the king has permitted. No. When the king is polygamous, He's a fool. He is not above the Bible. One man, one woman. One woman, one man. You can go against it. You go to hell. You challenge and see. The world was created. Someone created you. The king was created. The government is a creator, not a creator. But it will not be well with the wicked, nor will he prolong his days, which are shallow, because he does not fear God. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 12 and 13. Asaph, we know that he wrote Psalm 73, or he was speaking in Psalm 73. Asaph would later come to the same conclusion. In fact, he was so annoyed. Asaph struggled with the feelings of envy and doubt. Why the wicked prospered, but the righteous affected? How possible? Asaph, he never understood it. That officially the wicked was prospering and the righteous was affected. For example, Job. How can Job, or how could Job be affected? A just man was affected with sores all over his body. He lost everything. And the wicked prospered. So Asaph was envy. He was envious and he doubted. He battled with faith and finding soothing in God's presence. He battled with faith that what at all is Christianity? What at all do we gain by following God? That a righteous man will be highly affected and the wicked will prosper in his way. So he was in a battle with his conscience or with himself. But in all cases, he was supposed to find soothing, comfort in God's presence. So Solomon commends enjoyment of all kinds to man, which God gives him under the sun. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 15. So I commended enjoyment, because a man has nothing better under the sun than to eat, drink, and be merry, for this will remain with him in his labor all the days of his life, which God gives him under the sun. Yes, when you struggle, you labor a lot, trying to enjoy. Last time I was telling a mentee, a Prince Mensa in town, at his phone repair center, that Prince Mensa, I call him that engineer. When you marry, your wife will know what the food that you like most, and intermittently she will prepare for you, so that you will eat, make merry, and enjoy in your home. And we all laugh. In fact, he was so happy. I was telling him that marriage is good. Actually, marriage is very good than being a womanizer. But one thing that I've seen is that women also understand. Women understand the struggle of their husbands. You might think not all, but from what I've seen, women, they are surely aware that the man does not spend his money outside. Whatever he gets, he brings it home. Even if he's giving food, oh, I'm going to give it to my children. Some will attend a program, they will even take away a drink. They will never eat or drink. They will stay hungry. Some will even go and buy food elsewhere and package the program the package nicely, and then to be given to the wife and the other children, because he told them that he was attending a function, and definitely they will be expecting some returns. So the wife will carefully plan a very nice food. Prepare how much, or how many times will you even eat? If you want, maybe tilapia, she'll prepare for you in the home, and you feel so happy, because she is aware that you do not use your own hard-earned money to enjoy your life outside, but rather you are caring for her and the children, or you care for the home. So Solomon is never against merrymaking. You can have a party in your own home. Of course, I'm not going to invite any unbeliever to come to my home with indecent dressing, where they will request alcoholic drinks, come in with indecent dressing. No. But I can invite my fellow Christians. When I say my fellow Christians, not all of them. Not all are in the church who want to go to heaven. I will invite those whom I think that they are disciplined. You can invite them for a party in your home. You're not going to play any profane songs. Some get together, you eat, you make merry. You must have fun. Drink champagne. Make fun. Have fun. Make merry. Create recreational activities. Go out with your wife sometimes. But don't go and sit amidst the unbelievers. Of course, I cannot go and then sit at a drinking spot to buy water and drink. What if there's an accident? They will say that those people who were at the spot, at the drinking spot, there was no camera to capture that you and your wife were drinking what. So I won't go and sit there. Of course, nowadays we have fridges in our homes, so you can equally go and buy those drinks, put them in your fridge, do party in your home. There's nothing wrong to even celebrate a birthday, but I don't like it. I don't see it to be a sin that don't celebrate your birthday. Even Christmas, as I was teaching Christmas and Easter, you can choose to celebrate it, but not purposely for the Christmas or Easter. For example, you are in a home, so you can observe it as a secular thing, as a means of resting, because in Ghana, during holidays, all workers are given some 2 or 3 days. So if you're in a home, why are you home? Because the world is celebrating Easter. That's why you're also home. But you will not buy food, meat, cook them specifically that I am preparing this food because of Christmas or Easter. That one becomes a sin. But if you are home, having fun with your children, with your wife, enjoying the holiday, it is not a sin. Except that you purposely bought a fowl, a goat, killed to celebrate it. That makes it a sin. Alright, I think enough of that. So we are moving on that. Solomon, or nowhere in the Bible that you condemn fun. Fear God and receive the gift he gives, or withholds with gratitude and trust. The preacher concluded that God's ways are inscrutable to men, however wise. 8 verse 17. Ecclesiastes 8 verse 17. You might not understand me all the time, especially if you're not a Christian. Then I saw all the work of God, that a man cannot find out the work that is done under the sun. For though a man labors to discover it, yet he will not find it. Moreover, though a wise man attempts to know it, he will not be able to find it. Once again, the secret things belong to the Lord our God. Deuteronomy 29 verse 29 is. In conclusion, Job in his misery twice asks plentifully, but where can wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding? Job 28 verse 12 and 20. And he answers his own question. God understands its way, and he knows its place. Job 28 verse 23. He answers again, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Job 28 verse 28. Proverbs 1 verse 7, I think 9 verse 10 is saying that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And Job is also saying that the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. My friend, it is not easy to depart from evil unless you have understanding. Where people are gambling, making money to buy buy lands, to buy houses. Some have become filthy rich due to gambling. They don't fear God. They don't even go to church. In fact, they hate the Bible itself. They don't even want to hear you mentioning church. They don't know that there's a church in the Bible, which is the Church of Christ is in the Bible. And God is saving the world only through this church. Only one door, only one way. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. There's no other path except being baptized, staying committed in Church of Christ. You go to hell. You sit down there and then debate. I don't care. My duty is to warn you. You can obey or eschew. I don't care. Because we are not to beg people to listen to the truth. God is not forcing you to by force attend his church. But we are saying that it takes someone who has understanding to flee from evil. Unless you have understanding, you will never ever be able to. If you need wisdom, ask God. Sophia, James 1 is saying that the application of knowledge, understanding, common sense. So understanding is here that you can only flee from evil in this world when you have understanding. Use wisdom, but know its limitations. On that note, we will end our lesson today. Only the degree God has revealed his plan to us can we understand. The rest is shrouded, and for that we must trust him. We need to trust God no matter what. There's nothing that we can do from our strength. We need understanding to flee from God, to obey God. Sorry, I said to flee from God, to flee from evil. When we flee from evil, then it's where we can comfortably live with God, obey him, obey his commandments. On that note, my name is Joseph Atta. I am mining for the truth. See you next time on the Pedagogy of Ecclesiastes chapter 9, episode 1. Live joyfully. Ecclesiastes 9, verse 1 to 12. Bye-bye.